Welcome back to Brands Hatch for the iRacing Touring Car Championship round 26 here on BSR TV with me, Chris Cohen, and Rob Burton. Rob, fantastic first race.
Yeah, fantastic first race there, but there was a lot of incidents there, and some of them had quite a bad race, and be hoping to make it up in these next couple of races.
Well, just before we get going with round 26 itself, we can actually bring you a bit more of a wide-angle replay on the very first corner here. Let's get this one going, and you can see there's these cars just coming down to Druids for the first time. The car at the front of your picture just spears off towards the inside on its own. That's Coba Lopez. Doesn't seem to make any contact with anyone. Bounces off the inside barrier, hard on the brakes. One of the Addison Lees goes around the outside there, and the two cars at the front, Wild and Fletcher, manage to escape without incident, and then all hell breaks loose there. Terry is spun around, entangled up with one of the eBay cars. There's a big queue there as Coba Lopez is facing the wrong way in the middle of the track. Another one of the eBay cars is going around the outside, sideways, blocking the rest of the road, and you can see that the main pack there has actually stopped moving. And it's at this point some of the cars going around the inside of Lopez, some going around the outside, as you can see there, and Lopez is actually travelling backwards against he's going in the right direction but facing the wrong way as he tries to spin that car around. The main field does get going again eventually, introduces a big gap, and right off in the distance on the left of the picture you can actually see the leaders going through with a massive advantage now, and Lopez is in the middle of the track sideways, gets T-boned by one of the Pertex. The other one goes in the back of the... it's just such a mess really, and you can see Terry on the right hand side of your picture actually waits there before all the other cars have gone through before getting on his way again. But it just goes to show, and one of the Welch Motorsports on the left hand side of the picture is sideways as well there. It just goes to show, Rob, that one small incident like that at the start of the race, and it has a massive knock-on effect for the rest of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to keep it clean for the first lap or so, and then start making some positions up after that, just to keep yourself clean, especially if you're in the hunt for the championship.
Yeah, that's right. And just having a look at the championship table right now, Terry. This information, by the way, is correct just as we were coming into today's racing, so hasn't been updated to take into account today's first round. That's worth bearing in mind. So Terry is out in front, but by less now, because Stevens grabbed 6 points in that last race. But we've learned, you worked it out, Rob, didn't you, that Terry actually got the fastest lap in round 25 as well.
Yeah, that's right. Terry got the fastest lap in round 25 as well, with a 1 minute 31.131.
An impressive race pace there, but that means that Stevens, as far as we can tell at the moment, has gained 5 points on Terry. He was 17 behind. He's gained 5 points, so he's now 12 behind. So we were talking before about the need to get an average of about 6 points a race, and Stevens has actually done that. But in the next race, Stevens will be starting from 10th position. Terry will be starting down in 25th. So Stevens is in the points already. All he has to do is stay there to make up another 6 points, and Terry needs to make up at least 10 places in order to get any points at all.
Yep, and then of course we've got the reverse grid, so a lot of drivers will be hoping to finish high, but maybe a little bit lower, so they get the jump on the third and final race. Yeah,
although I mean, what is your strategy there? I mean, if you can go for a higher finish in this race, would you rather do that than finish lower and get the reverse grid higher up?
Yeah, I would rather get the points, and then even though you'll be lower down, at least you still consistently get some points to finish the race in the next round.
Yeah, so just as a reminder there, round 27, which follows this round this evening, the top 10 places, top 10 finishers from round 26 will have their grid positions reversed. So 10th will start from pole position, and the winner of round 26 will start in 10th. There's a special feature of the third race in any meeting, and this is the final 3 rounds this evening of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship season. So we're just coming up to getting ready to go to the grid now. The driver's just having a quick warm-up ahead of round 26. It's going to be wild from Fletcher, from Katz on the grid, but some of the big hitters, if you like, Koba Lopez, Terry, are in the 20s at the start, which is going to make things very interesting. Expecting them to come through the field, Rob?
I definitely expect them to come through the field. It should put on a nice show for all of us and commentary people, and they expect people watching at home as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm really hoping for a cleaner start this time. It was definitely very exciting last time, but it's really upset things in the order of the championship order. Really, it has made the battle at the top more exciting for us to watch. Although, being if you were Adam Terry, I think you might be a little bit disappointed by that. As we just go over to the track now, and we'll just watch these cars get ready on the grid here. Seem to have lost the grid camera temporarily. Let's try and get that back now. So, right up on the front of the grid there, in the white and blue, Welch Motorsport is Richard Wilde. Then it's Mark Fletcher on the outside, and then Andreas Katz is just behind him. David Burnett is behind Fletcher on the right hand side, and a Pertec machine just visible in the blue livery there. The lights go on. Round 26 at Brands Hatch is about to go underway. 10 more laps of exciting touring car action is underway. All get away very cleanly. These cars very difficult to get off the line, don't forget. Coming down to Paddock Hill Bend for the very first time. Wild from Fletcher, from Katz. It looks like, well, they all got through there cleanly so far. One of the Dyno Jets just pushed out wide, but there is a very slow car up front there, just behind there. It looks like one of the Welch cars might have failed to get away there, Rob. I'm not sure what's happened. It's just coming through now. It's one of the Pertecs, in fact. And we're mid-battle here with Craig Ray, with two Dyno Jets and an eBay Motors just behind him. Ray's holding on to the 12th spot at the moment, showing his 10th on your screen. And he has Chris Shaw just up in front. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with the timing screen. I'm not sure that information's quite correct, so we'll just update that. Richard Wilde out in front from Mark Fletcher and Andreas Katz as well. Big gaggle of cars then coming through from about 6th through to 15th at the moment. Craig Ray is under threat from both of those Dyno Jets there, and they're fighting it out amongst each other as well. The leader's just starting to pull away a little bit, and Chris Shaw holding off Craig Ray there. Chris Shaw driving the red and white Yuasa car, with John Richardson right in front of him. Be looking to mount a challenge if he possibly can.
Yeah, we're just watching a lot of the cars cross the start-finish line now, with 9 laps to go. Ellis Stevens has now gone from 9th to 7th place.
So 3 places. It was 10th on the grid, was it, or 9th? Was it 9th?
He was 9th on the grid.
So 2 places made up for Ellis Stevens. He's now chasing Stephen McGarrity in that orange Dyno Jet car up in front, and that means that he is going to be scoring even more points than he was before. Adam Terry, though, is showing as 16th at the moment, with a lot of damage on the front of that Dyno Jet car, but up to 16th already. Or is that 15th? It might well be 15th, you know. It's difficult to tell. There seems to be a disagreement between what's on the screen and what's on the timing screen here, but he's made up a lot of places anyway. That's surprising.
Yeah, he's made up a lot of places. He's got quite a lot of damage on the front of that car. That could cause a bit of a handling problem later on.
Indeed, and someone we didn't see in the first race who has made it out into the second race, Ignacio Pinella, is currently running in the 17th position. Obviously didn't set a time, so would have started from the back, but there's a lot. There seems to be quite a few cars that where is, you know, Simon Field is in the pits. Seems to be a lot of cars gone into the pits after that first lap, so perhaps there was, do you think there was something we didn't see there? And what's happened to Mark Fletcher? He's down to 5th position. There's something else we didn't see, a mistake from Mark Fletcher there. He was running in second position, he's now down into fifth. He's ceded that second place to Andreas Katz, and Burnett and Chepelewski have both moved up ahead. Katz is now trying to hunt down Richard Wilde, who is starting to pull out a little bit of a lead, but look at Burnett on the tail of Katz there. He is right behind him, and the fourth place, the black and white car, Stelian Chepelewski, is trying to catch those two as well.
Yeah, David Burnett's having a great round this weekend, and he's up there in third at the minute. He did qualify in fourth point, so he's having a great couple of races.
And we're quite used to seeing Katz just run away with these races, you know, just get out in front and stay there, especially in the early part of the season. But to see Burnett and Chepelewski staying with him there, Chepelewski just shaving a little bit of time off his lap there with the last few corners, but still coming out strong. It's great to see. I mean, these three, second to fourth, are really close on the track.
Yeah, definitely very close, and their lap times are pretty close as well, so they're always being quite consistent at the minute for these opening laps of the this round.
And this is a view from David Burnett's Pertec racing car. It's not often this season we've seen Pertec on the podium, if at all. So this could well be a first time. Things could change. I mean, we're only on lap 4 out of 10 here, but could Richard Wilde take a second victory here? That would be impressive, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be very impressive. I mean, Katz is hanging on to the back of him. He's only 1.2 seconds behind, so anything's possible at the minute with 7 laps to go.
Katz has got his claws in, you mean? So Koba Lopez is showing on our screens at least as 9th. How has he done that? He's up to 9th position from about 25th on the grid.
Yeah, I did watch him at the start a little bit. He did do a few lunges and got up the inside of a few people and made quite a few positions.
He's definitely not been contact free. The front of that Kia definitely looks out of shape. Well, whatever happened there, we're not entirely sure. Unfortunately, we can't follow everything on the track at once, although it would be brilliant if we could. Terry then is now down to 16th. Stevens, meanwhile, is still running in 7th, but Stevens, as you can see on your screen there, is right on the tail of Stephen McGarity in the Dyno Jet, just up in front of him. McGarity just blinking a little bit there. Hopefully that won't affect his race too much. Coming through to end lap 4 and start lap 5, Stevens will want to grab as many points out of this as possible. It's critical for his championship hopes, because Terry is currently just outside the points. He's not going to have to do much to get back into the points here, and the more points ahead Stevens can finish in this race, the easier his task is going to be in the final race, as he's right on the tail of McGarity coming into Druids there. He'll be looking to make a move at some point on this lap. He's going down the inside, won't quite get it there. Not enough of a gap to make that work. He's had to drop back just a little bit, but how much of a slipstream comes into effect on this relatively short straight, Rob? Is it worth mentioning, or does it not really count for much?
It's worth mentioning because a lot of people, if they're really close up behind them coming out the corner, they can get a good lunge for the right hand side of the track and take it up the inside.
Not the best overtaking position, just coming off this long straight into the second half of the circuit, and Stevens too far back to do anything really at the moment. Just half a second between them. It was very close coming out of Druids on this lap. Stevens stands to move up to 6th from this, if he can get past McGarity, but McGarity won't give up that place easily, that's for sure. Burnett, meanwhile, still running in 3rd, Cat still running in 2nd, and the race leader is still Richard Wilde after 5 laps. So coming through to finish lap 5, onto lap 6, Stevens has still not got that decisive edge over McGarity to take that position. So maybe we'll come back to that battle, but meanwhile let's join up with Adam Terry, who's currently running in 50, showing us 16th on the screen. It is actually 15th at the moment. So he stands to gain 1 point from this, but as we saw from the last race, Rob, he did get fastest lap in that last race as well.
Yeah, that fast lap did help towards a couple more points here, even though he lost a couple as well.
But you've got to say that the form that Koba Lopez has been on in this race, now up to 8th position, by the way, as he's just scything his way through that field. He might well be on for fastest lap as well.
Yep, definitely. I mean, Ellis is right up there as well, putting in some great lap times in behind Stephen McGarity there. This should be a great 5 laps to go here.
Just coming a little bit further down the field then, we've got, just behind Adam Terry in fact, we've got Matt Dalton down in 16th after his dramatic role in the first race, has recovered well. Dan Hunt though, who we saw finish pretty well in the first race, is down there in 17th for Speedworks. He'll be disappointed with that at the moment, and Peter Van Gool and Peter Foster are currently battling it out. The two Peters, the two Pertic drivers, battling it out for 18th. That's 18th and 19th position there. So yeah, that's right. Yeah, 18th and 19th position there. There are still a couple of cars that you can see a lap down. They are. There's about 8 or 9 cars there. And I believe we just missed a change for the lead. Rob, Katz is now out in front. So I wonder what happened to Richard Wild on that last lap there. He's lost 2 positions there. Maybe we'll see if we can just go back a little bit and get a replay of that, see what happened. So we're just watching Richard Wild from Andreas Katz. He's slowed down. Has he got a slow? He must have had a slowdown penalty there, Rob.
Yeah.
So we'll go back a little bit further and see what might have happened there. So Wild out in front. Oh, we haven't seen enough of that, but let's just watch him coming through this next corner. He's taken all 4 wheels off the track there, and that's disastrous for Wild. He'll be very disappointed with himself, as he had that one firmly in the bag by the looks of things.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Meanwhile, Katz has not managed to pull out any kind of gap from David Burnett, who is now up to 2nd by merit of Richard Wild's 4-wheel grass error, shall we say, which is unfortunate for Wild, coming into just finished lap 7 onto lap 8 now, and Burnett is one of the most impressive drivers I've seen come through new entries. He's storming to 2nd place here, possibly a victory, you never know.
Oh yeah, I've been really impressed with him in this round of races so far. Really impressive.
So we've got 3 more laps to go at the moment. David Burnett is chasing Andreas Katz for the lead of this race. Katz can't be used to this, Rob, having someone so close to him all the way through the race and not letting go like this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Katz is out there in the lead, and he, like I say, he does do consistent point finishes as well.
And elsewhere on the track, Ellis Stevens has managed to make it past Stephen McGarity, so Stevens is now up to 6th position on the track. He has passed McGarity. He has a mountain to climb if he wants to get to 5th, because there's 5 seconds to make up there, but we didn't see it, but he has got past McGarity. So Stevens is in 6th. Adam Terry, meanwhile, hasn't managed to capitalise any further and is still down in 16th place, which means although it's showing 7th on your screen, it will be 6th position once we go around the track and the lap positions update. But 6th position is worth how many points, Rob? I can't work it out off the top of my head.
I can't quite work it out myself as well, but I can point out that also with the reverse grid that will shape out quite well for him.
Yeah, obviously the higher up Stevens finishes here, the more he'll be punished in the final race, but the more points he'll gain here. And it's worth mentioning as well that the higher up you finish, the more points you get. You get more points cumulatively, so the winner gets 20 and 2nd place gets 17. But by the time you get further down the field, the places are only separated by 1 point. So that's worth bearing in mind as well. So Katz leads the race from Burnett, who will just not let go in 2nd place. Oh, as we see Koba Lopez coming through on McGarity there, down the inside. He's got the position. That was a lovely move from Koba Lopez. He is now up to 7th position and will have his eye on the back of Ellis Stevens' car there with 2 laps to go. Koba Lopez starting in the 20s, storming through the field.
Yeah, there's been some hard charges in this race, taking risks, I would say.
Yeah, although no risk in that overtake. It looked like McGarity knew he was there, and that was a perfectly clean manoeuvre. It's good to see that, and Cobo Lopez with something to prove after that last race. McGarity, though, not letting go. He's still trying to come back on Cobo Lopez, although you feel like Lopez should have the pace here. Meanwhile, let's let Stevens just creep out a little bit in front. Stevens will be watching carefully that Team Club 44 car in his rearview mirror coming through to the final lap of the race. Katz is still in the lead of the race. He has led 4 laps. Wild led half the race, had a slowdown penalty halfway through, unfortunately, and that's pushed him down into 3rd place. Although he has held on to 3rd. Lopez now looking for a way round the eBay Motors car in front of him of Ellis Stevens. Stevens won't give up that position unless he absolutely has to. Defends the inside line coming into Druids, and Lopez is right on the back of him. Him having to give up some time in that defence. He's still on the defensive, down the inside again, not giving Lopez any room whatsoever. And coming into the second half of the lap here, one of the trickiest corners on the track, this left-hander just before the straight. He needs to get a good exit here to get some decent speed down the straight. Lopez keeps it a bit tighter. Let's see what these two can do down this straight on the very last lap. I'm kind of loath to leave this battle to go back to the lead here, but we are on the last lap of the race. And Andreas Katz is still leading the race from David Burnett. Richard Wild is in 3rd position. Coming through the last few corners now. So you have to say a well-deserved but slightly unexpected victory. I won't speak too soon, put the commentator's curse on him, wait for him to get round the last corner first. There he goes, for Andreas Katz there. David Burnett with an excellent 2nd place, and Richard Wild in 3rd there. 4th goes to Mark Fletcher, 5th to Stelian Chepelewski, but look at Cobo Lopez right on the back of Ellis Stevens. Stevens will hold on to this, coming over the start-finish line. McGarity pushed out down to 8th place, unfortunately for him. Still a solid result though. Stevens over the line then, 6th, Cobo Lopez 7th. Jerome Kaiser with a very impressive 9th place, and Nick McCarron has taken 10th. So results coming up on your screen momentarily.
Yeah, what a great race. There's quite a lot of clean racing now. I was quite surprised actually as well.
Well, when you compare that to the first race there, Rob, that was a remarkably clean race. I do feel like we missed some carnage at some point during the early part of that race, because there were a lot of cars in the pits there. Maybe we can get some feedback from the drivers themselves after this, but from what we saw on the screen anyway, good clean racing, good overtaking. Cobo Lopez up from the 20s into 7th place. Hard to argue with that one, really. Stevens taking 10 points in 6th place. Victory goes to Katz. And just having a look now down the field at where did Adam Terry finish in the end. Terry came home in 16th place, so no points for Terry unless he managed to get the fastest lap in that race. And that makes the final race incredibly interesting, doesn't it? Because Terry is outside the cut for the reverse grid. Stevens is in the cut for the reverse grid, but won't fall down too far from that, which means that Stevens has about a 10-place grid penalty, a 10-place grid advantage over Terry going into the final race, and should be about 2 points behind. Is that right, roughly?
That sounds about right, roughly. I mean, he's really got a great chance at winning this.
Let's see if we can get a quick word with championship contender Ellis Stevens right now. Let's see if he's available for a quick chat. Ellis, are you with us? Are you there, Ellis? Okay, I believe he's not available at the moment, but let's see if Simon Field might be available for a quick comment for us. Simon, are you available?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Excellent, brilliant. How did that go for you, Simon?
This is my weekend.
No, and it did look like a much cleaner race than the first race. I mean, just going back to that first race, it didn't really didn't really work out for you at all, did it? That kind of put a scupper on the whole sort of proceedings.
No, I was it was all of my own doing again, to be honest. What did happen? I can't even remember. I got myself involved in a silly accident, put me down the grid, and that was the end of it. Really, shame.
So, a 20th place, was that 20th in the end for you? No, it wasn't, was it? It was 23rd.
This race was, yeah.
A 23rd position, obviously outside the cut for the final race. This is the final race of the season. I mean, how would you sum up this season in terms of the racing, the enjoyment you get out of it, racing with other people so close in these sort of close quarters environments, to anyone that might be wanting to join in with this kind of thing?
Oh, you're going to get coming-togethers and things like that. But the racing's been good. We've had big grids, and I think next season will only be stronger.
And it's a bit early to say yet, perhaps, but will you be retaining your Wix Racing drive for next season?
I haven't been told. I'll wait for the team boss. He'll let me know, I'm sure.
Excellent. Well, best of luck for you in the final race. Enjoy yourself. I know we will in the commentary box. Thanks, Simon.
Do your best. Thanks very much.
That's Simon Field there coming home. It does say 20th on the screen. I'm not sure what's happening with the on-screen results compared to the results we've got on our timing screen there, Rob. But it's a little bit out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little bit out. I'm just looking for it now. It looks like it was 20th place there.
Yeah, I've got 23rd, so something not quite. Anyway, it was outside the points. He's outside the cut, unfortunately, for that. Let's see if we can get a quick word with Matt Dalton just before we sign off. Matt, are you with us?
Yep.
Matt Dalton for Team Sicily. What happened in that first race, Matt? We didn't have a chance to catch up with you afterwards, but it looked like a nasty incident.
Yeah, I got a little bit, well, Julian got a little bit wide, kind of left me nowhere to go when he got out of control, and that was that.
So that kind of sort of ruined the first race for you. You're running very well otherwise, but how was it coming through the field in the second race?
It was good fun. It's a bit of a challenge. We had some incidents on the first lap as usual, but it's a bit gutted I couldn't make it into the top 10, but we had to go.
So you'll be starting just outside the top 10 in the third race, final race of the season. Where can you finish realistically?
I think I can get a top 5 if I can survive the first lap.
So we've obviously seen Koba Lopez come in high in this race, surprisingly, considering he started so low down the field. You've got the likes of Stevens and Wild and Burnett and Katz and Fletcher as well to contend with. Do you think you're on par with them, or do you think you'll struggle to get into the top 5?
I think my pace is better than them. It's just getting up there and being able to run with them. If we can survive the first couple of corners, then anything can happen.
Brilliant. And just before we let you go, Matt, any tips for anyone just wanting to get into this kind of thing for next season? What's the most important thing coming into touring car racing when you tried other forms of iRacing?
Probably a neck brace.
Thanks, Matt. That's Matt Dalton there coming home in, again, it's difficult to say. My screen says 14th, your screen says 13th, so somewhere around there, but as we heard, Rob, he's just outside the cut for the top 10. It must be harsh, because he's come right through the field in the second race, looking for a good result, and not managed to get into that top 10. But just one more to go, and who's going to take it? It's all down to this battle between Ellis Stevens and Adam Terry.
Yeah, I mean at the moment I think Ellis has got the edge, and he's got a great starting position. So as long as he can hold his position, stay out of trouble, I think he could get this.
Well, it'll be very, very interesting to find out. Adam Terry will be starting from 16th place. Stevens will be starting from 5th, so a full 11 places ahead. As far as we can work out, and we haven't confirmed this at this stage, but 2 points separate Stevens and Terry. So in order to win the championship for Season 2 of the iRacing British Touring Car Championship, Ellis Stevens will need just 3 points more than Adam Terry going into the very last race of the season. That's round 27. That's coming up here on BSR TV in just a moment. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. It'll retune for you. And I hope you can join us in a few moments.